and stuff have a good look at themselves. That's what my job is. That's why I am the God of Sark. See, that's who I am. Yes, I do have a personification. And yes, it does have the same type of senses, and it does have the same form of elation as well as depression as any other person on earth. But see, I was sent here with a lesson to spread. And that's what I'm doing. It's like the great prophet who's always in every Bible story was reluctant to go speak to any person because of how dangerous it is, especially when the person you're sent to speak with is a governing body. Look at all the stuff, according to your Bible, Moses had to go through. Okay? I mean, it's really horrible to have to stand in the desert 40 years. I could have made me be mad at God. But the thing is, I'm not on that. I'm just saying that it's always a hard struggle to be the person who has to combat oppression. Even your Jesus, according to your own Bible, was murdered as a political offender. Okay? Whenever you are attacking a political body that is a governing body through atrocious activities, you put yourself in a position to get seriously hurt up. And believe me, it does not feel good knowing that eventually you probably could get arrested, thrown in jail, and never see the sunlight again. But knowing that you've been conditioned by the sunlight to be a willing recipient of those type of conditions because of your love of the sun and my love of my fellow human being too, even if sometimes my conversations with everyone doesn't display that. You can hear hostility, but what you hear more than anything is genuine honesty. Okay? I want you to know that. That's what I'm trying to perpetuate more than anything is sincere honesty. Alright? That's how come the emotions does not be held back. I bring it at you so you can feel my heart. Okay? That's what that's all about. I'm not being rude or nothing. I just know that I don't have tomorrow as a guarantee. So when I sit in front of this camera and come at you, I'm going to give you 100%. Okay? And that's what that's all about. I'm not some preacher begging you for money, so I have to be careful and really sugarcoat everything because I'm afraid you ain't going to drop your 20 today. No, that's not true. What I'm going to do is come out here and pound you with what Spirit says for me to say. Same with any judge, any mayor, any politician. Even if it was President Obama, I'll say what I had to say to him. And Spirit be telling me, look, you don't fuck with Obama. You just leave that one alone. Okay? That's what it says to me. You shut your ass up. Don't, nope, shut up. Right away. You don't even get involved with that. When I send you to a city, you do what I tell you to do with that city. You wipe your feet and you get the hell out of that. Don't you worry about none of their threats. Don't you worry about nothing that the ego they're going to throw at you because you know what? I am the Son and I will deal with them. So don't worry about them. You tell them what I tell you to tell them and you go on about your business. Because I'm the ruler of this universe. And they could think what they want to think, but we're going to see who really be the person to bow down. See, they could throw my ass in jail. But guess what? They have forever to incarnate over and over and over because what they understand is that the spirit that gives them life gave them a soul. And their soul is what made them come to earth and be the person that they are right now. And see, that's what spirit does. Spirit is sit back and watch you. And watch everything you do and write it all down. And it say, I remember when I gave you energy when you was on this planet. Let me show you what you did there. And then it bring me in. And so remember you accused him of stealing a bike and you put him through all that old shit. You remember? And I'll be sitting there, I say, I told you that I'm not a joke. I told you, right? I told everybody right off the top. I was honest with everybody and the sun even showed you. Even the sun showed you, the sun herself. And then light ships. Oh, no, wait, hold it. They even threw some light ships in too. And you still have a problem getting it? Hold on a minute, everybody. I'll be right back. Okay, thanks for holding. I'm back, okay. All right, so yeah, I was talking about the UFOs when I left. My point being that some things is what they are. We as a people live in a universe that is more complex than just Jesus. Now listen, people need to stop getting mad about someone coming at you with the truth about how things are, because the reason why you're confused about the truth is because someone has given you non-truth. Okay? But more than anything, what you need is the truth. Okay? Now, I'm going to give you some truth about what's going on with lying. There's so much corruption in our prison system. Okay? Now listen to this. Can Negro, Black, and colored prisoners be freed? Now listen what the answer is. It says no, never. By the standing laws of the corporate United States, this is another legal impossibility. Not as long as they claim niggers, black, or colored. They say Negro, but we know what it really means. Or any label other than their inalienable free national name. The process of self-entombing remains shamelessly and fully in effect, even if they were freed. Freed into what? Certainly not into the family of nations. Negroes, blacks, and colored labels are built into the American-European panorama and are legally colored in its social fabrics. As long as they identify with what the U.S. laws flexes them to be, then only truth knows for sure how long this illusion will last. United States history succinctly reveals its laws and codes. United States of America got its country, growth, and life from the body of Hiram Abiff. Hiram Abiff is the melanated people that was enslaved by the Europeans. That is a code name for those people and myself. Enslaved in the shallow grave of the purported laws which are designed to use Negro, black, and colored as a perpetual commodity. At best, the Negro, black, and colors are hand-carved to be permanent pawns in the game of U.S. citizenry. All is no loss, however, because any David of the life will always use the size of a Goliath of the dark as the greatest weapon against himself. Remember, those birth certificates, social security cards, driver license, arrest records, etc., they all have Negro, black, color spelled or coded in somewhere within their format. And they all form a legal Goliath of inescapable oppression, shrouded with false identities. But from this evil will come a mighty good. The Negro, black, coloreds, actually from a nation now held as political prisoners and as political prisoners. Let me explain to you what that means. It means that as long as you as a person remains under a system that has given you a name that is other than the name given to you by God, okay? This is what I'm saying. You have people on this earth who has a name that is synonymous with regions that the name could be traced to as a location of a launching point of that name. Or they have a creed and a religion that will go along with a nationality description or characteristics or the ritual practices of a group or a sector of people. Okay? So now let me break this down to you like this. You have the Chinese people. They are synonymous with China. Chinese people have their own little religion. It's called Buddhism, I think. I'm not sure. Okay, but I think that's what it is. But what I'm saying is, you probably have Christianity in China also. Don't get me wrong. You might have every religion over in China. But what I'm saying is that the Chinese people as a sector of people have their own national self-induced as well as conduced religion that would be synonymous with a God that looked like them and everything. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? Now the Mexican people, they have a white God whose name is Jesus, but it's spelled Jesus. But a lot of them are striving to be white. We want to be more white than black. Not all of them, but a lot. We all know it's true. Don't get mad at me, please, for pointing out truth. And one of that is because of the brainwashing to try to levitate with a description that's fitting to the description of God. But funny thing is, there's no God, so I ain't trying to be a part of that. Just a tad bit too much important stuff missing for me, okay? All right. My point is this. If I live in this country and I know what it's done to me in slavery days, why would I trust their judicial system? Why would I want to be in there signing documents when I know they use that shit as a way to build a case against you? Just like what he said right here, all those arrest records. Now they bring you into court and say, well, in 1929, that was 40 years ago. I was 18. I'm 60 years now. That was 42 years ago. But they still got it on file. You threw an apple through Mrs. Johnson's window. Yo, it wasn't an apple. We were playing baseball. The baseball flew through the window. It wasn't an apple. The stupid cop that came out there and did the report, we tried to tell him what happened, but he just wouldn't listen. He just wrote what he wanted to write. All those technicalities don't matter because the only thing they're trying to do is make money. So they say, well, it was, not to mention it was 42 years ago. In my case, I don't have a criminal record. So we won't be offering no criminal background today, probably because there is not one. Otherwise, we're sure you would tell about it. And see, this is what I'm talking about. They are attacking my melanin. That's what it is. All about me driving down the alley and trying to make a living for me. And the reason I'm doing that is because they attack my melanin and remove opportunities for me to survive and feed for myself away from me. Not all of them. Don't get me wrong. Some of them go out of their way to help me. You know, I've crippled a lot of people because of my inability to make money. The people that trusted me that I just didn't have the damn money. I went out there and tried to get it. Sometimes I spent more money in gas than I made. You knock on 30 doors and nobody even opened the damn door. And it's probably because of my controversial stuff that I talk about, but guess what? It's needed. It's really needed. You know, it's people that are being hanged and put through all type of atrocious stuff because of the lack of knowledge of self. And there's a lot of people out here that recognizes the fact that if people were just more aware of what their true circumstances are, they could change the world just by knowing. Knowing is half the battle. If you don't know that you have a problem, you're not going to be able to fix it. If you think it's totally perfect to work like a slave every day, 5 days a week, 6 days sometimes, and isn't this something, when you work overtime, you get taxed more? Now, wait a minute, this is some bullshit, okay? Because think about it. Okay, I worked 40 hours already, and I'm not making much money, okay? So, they're going to give me 8 hours overtime this week. I'll make a little extra cash. Okay, good. But then the government tax you more. So the extra cash you make, you get taxed for it. See, that's I'm just saying. And this goes on right under my nose, and then I live on a planet where a lot of people want to look at me like there's something wrong with me, and it's like, I'm not the person that's pimping your ass. I'm broke. Did you see the backpack? Did you see me getting harassed when I was in the alley trying to pick up scrap metal? You know? And a lot of people didn't harass me. There was some white people who came in the alley and they was empathizing with me, and they whispered to me and say, you're not doing anything wrong. Keep doing it. Keep coming back. You're doing us a good service. Keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? Now let me explain something to you. In the sake of everyone on this planet, I don't want to rub nobody the wrong way. No Mexicans, no judges, no mayors, nobody. For the sake of everybody, I would love to be the most peaceful, unopinionated, unoppositional person on the planet, but I can't. That's not what I was sent here for. I was sent here to get my ass whooped, get my ass hung, to get thrown in jail, all of those shit that I don't want to go through, but the universe knows something about me that makes it believe that I'm the person qualified to be sent here. Now, the lights, shows, and everything show you that. I'm not going to try to just say that to you as if that's my ego. See, the sun is pretty much, I guess, going to have the last word on everything. It can't get no better than that, because see, you can't shoot the sun and you can't handcuff it. No, it will burn your ass up. I keep telling people that. And for some reason, the only thing they want to see is my personification. It's like, did you see the lights coming from the sun? You did see that, right? Are you that stupid? Some things I just can't believe. I'm not gonna lie to you. Some things to me is just so incredibly hard to believe. I say to myself, can this really be happening? Because that light shot me. And when it shot me right here. Right there. I was doing like this. Just like what Hitler do, but he only do it with one hand. They stole that from us too. This is called, what is it? Is it the Kanye bar? This is giving praise. They call this making, is it shady? Oh. I haven't read the book in so long. No, it's not that. What is this? It's the Ari. No, it's. But all this is representation of giving homage, worship to the sun. You look at the sun, and you put your hands up like this, and you look at the sun. Now you see people in church put their hands up like this and look at pictures of Jesus. But this is ancient. You see the picture of the Buddha that I show you. He have his hands up like this to show you that he knows the power of the sun. And that's why he's in the spiral. Next time you see that, look at his hands. They like this. And they got him right in the middle of the spiral. Because the spiral means perpetuation of new experiences. Because each line segment as it comes back around moves over a space, and that gives it infinity. If it goes back over the same path that it started at, that's not infinity. That is coming back to your same beginning, which is repetitiveness, like Christmas at the end of every year, over and over and over all your life. And then right after Christmas, what is it, Valentine's Day? And all that stuff like that that keeps perpetuating repetitiveness. And hell is repetition. And that's what creates dead, because it eradicates the opportunity for new growth. Because everyone has gotten adjusted to a certain format of things, and now spirituality can't work, because when spirit tries to work, someone has paperwork to tell them, well, I don't care if spirit does start talking at 3:30. We're leaving at 3:30. So we no longer live in the spiritual world anymore. We live in a world based on capitalism, which is actually perpetuated by all types of ungodly actions and deeds. And that's the reason why you have God-man walking around the earth now that is taking account of everything and writing down names and really putting themselves at risk of being victimized, and all the stuff that Yeshua went through, and all the great prophets, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, you know, you name them. I can't name them all. Noble Drew Ali, who, as a matter of fact, I just really started learning about this guy. I had heard a lot of stuff about his teachings and everything from a lot of people that was, you know, Muslims and stuff, and I just never got to read the book. A lot of people in LA tell me that Moors and this and that and everything, and I knew a little stuff about what it was, but I actually found this book here, believe it or not, in Vancouver, Washington. I couldn't find it in LA, but I found it here. Ain't that something? And so I guess spirit just makes you be where you need to be. I always tell people that. And so I got a chance to be reading this book, and I really find it very interesting. Let me share something else with you, okay? Listen to this. It says, slavery and crime are U.S. staple industries. The 13th Amendment not only unionized slavery under the Master's House in Washington, D.C., it has also made that institution more profitable than ever. Today's legalization and enslavement of fallen humanity has made crime pay in America. Investors from Wall Street to private vendors are reaping astronomical profits. Most citizens being politically manipulated by their fear of crime do not know the courts are the new slave masters, which mean owners. The elected politicians are used as today's slave traders and slave drivers. Marshals, sheriffs, and police are legal slave catchers. Prison jails, camps, detention centers, etc. are concentrated slave camps. These naive citizens are constitutionalized victims of the built-in racism written by its founding Freemasonic fathers. See Freemasonry. Criminals and slaves are as American as honky-tonk, the NFL, and colored folks. Neither is new, but came with the territory. So it appears normal for the prison staple of the world's foremost superpower to be dependent upon a steady diet of descendants from Africa. In fact, it has become an acceptable custom and deemed politically correct to see people of hue. That means this. They spell hue, H-U-E. That's the proper way to spell human, H-U-E-M-A-N. But since some people want to call themselves white man, they took the human, H-U-E, and removed the E. So you will not understand that the original human of this earth is the brown man. Because you got to at least be brown before you constitute having a hue. Okay? So that's the reason why the E was removed, to hide the original autonomous beings of this earth are human, H-U-E-M-A-N, not white man. Okay? So now watch this. Let's finish. Excuse me. All right. Criminal and slaves are, in fact, it has become an acceptable custom deemed politically correct to see people of hue in restraints, that means handcuffs, and placed steadily in the dehumanizing self-containment of so-called prison life. Now see, let me explain to you what I'm saying. So many black men in this country have been victimized by corporate policy to use us as nothing but a source of revenue so they can make money off of us. They put us in prison and then force us to work in the prison slave industries, okay? Like now, all this activity around them saying I stole this bike is just only generated to build up a bunch of stupid rhetorical paperwork around me. So it'll be two things they could benefit from. The major thing they want to benefit from is just me being out of population, so they won't have to worry about me preaching this stuff to people and trying to wake people up and make people be responsible for themselves and see the real confronting circumstances in their life that is really a predacious opposement, and they don't understand that. So I'm trying to point out to them, listen, you have more problems than you really know about. Outside of feeding and struggling so hard to pay your bills, I want to show you that this is going to continue the rest of your life because you don't know why it's like that. So I want to point something else to you before I die. You know, I'm not going to be here forever. It's just a certain amount of time I could be here. And so in that little bit of time, I got to try to be as expressive as possible, you know? Okay, so here we go. You got to have to understand what is causing this deprivation on the earth and all this inflation and all this incarceration of people on the earth is just wrong. That universe is not going to turn her head. She will not be bribed. All these people on this earth who have sat around on this earth and watched this stuff going forever and haven't lifted a finger to do anything about it, but you're so quick, if you see a black man run past your house and you see police chasing him, you'll get on the phone right away and call and say where you saw him run to. When you know for a fact that there's been a history of us black people being victimized by these white men with these police uniforms and these guns and everything, but you will not hesitate to get involved to help the police catch a black man that's fleeing for his life. But at the same time, you can watch him standing on a corner with their backpack, starving to death, freezing to death, or whatever, but you won't do one freaking thing to give him an ounce of assistance. And that's the reason why I was sent into this earth, to give all this information to you so you guys can understand the biggest crimes of this planet is the crimes of one human being not understanding the power of helping each other. It's the power of everyone sustaining themselves. Now, the fact that no one knows that has made this earth completely decay. The hatred, the violence, the theft, the false incarcerations, the homosexuality, the mistreat of the woman, everything I've been saying to you guys, and all this victimization from the court system to try to get me to shut the hell up and all that stuff, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Sorry. I mean, I know you probably could kill me if the UFOs last you. You're going to have to get past them. You probably could lock me up in your jail, but then you probably will go home and get killed. And take your ass to sleep and never wake up. So, I mean, I'm not really the person that want to be locked up in nobody's jail, but I'm sure you're not the person that want to lock me up and take a chance on going home and go to sleep and never waking up and taking your ass to CSR. And if that's what you want to do because you so stuck on being corrupt, when you know I haven't did that stupid ass shit, and you put me through all this trouble, the whole court system, and this is not the first time. It's been so many cities that I've lived in, and these white men that run all these corrupt circumstances of extracting wealth from the people that they victimize does not like the intelligence, and they don't like my anointing. I was sent to this earth to do this. And you know what's funny is that I tell everybody, I say, you know, the way they work with me is that they make me disturb and agitate people purposely, because then they can read your heart and see who you're really made of. And then from there, once you hear me, and I tell everybody that, I say, listen, I don't even want to do this. It's not me. I'd rather I could be somewhere. I'd rather be dead. I'm not going to lie to you than I have to be. Do you understand how much anxiety I have to go through? There's nobody on earth that want to stay around me because they know I've created so many circumstances of, first of all, being melanated made me be disliked. But then the shit that I talk, oh, that made it even worse. You know what I'm saying? And then my type of hustle where I've been in altercation and conflict in the alley all day, and so many police, I bet you damn the every police in this town know my name. And then my ass have to come out here and say, and police is corrupt and this and that, and woo, 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 woo. But I don't believe that. I don't believe that all policemen are corrupt. I believe a lot of them are. I believe a lot of them are racist. Hell yeah, I do. But that still don't make me believe that all of them are corrupt. I know for a fact that you have good policemen that get murdered by corrupt policemen because the good one finds out something that he or she never should have found out. And those corrupt policemen, most of the time they be in stride with some real high up the line people. And they gangsters, they would kill your ass. You know, and I grew up in Detroit, and I know how people roll. People, if they can't get you, they could get your wife or your kids or your uncle or your grandmother. I know that. But the thing is, when you're working for an employer like the universe, you could be still afraid of man, but the sun has his way of convincing you that it's greater than that man. Because the sun says to me, I've given you immortality. If you had to stay in jail for 100 years, I mean, wouldn't you do it? And I'd be like, no. Hell no. Why would I want to stay in jail for 100 years? But when I say that, I know for a fact that if that's what the sun wants to happen, oh well, it is what it is. See, that's how it works. If I have to be a person that has to go through turmoil and suffrage to build a case, you know, they got what you call undercover policemen, and these undercover policemen put themselves at risk all the time. They get in a drug deal where one of the dudes is suspecting that he a cop, right? And he'll pull that gun out and he'll say, you don't shoot this in your arm. And that's the worst thing that a cop wants, is someone to make him shoot some heroin in his arm. Trust me on that. Want me to tell you why? Because if you shoot some heroin in your arm, you might like that shit. And then 2 days later, you trying your best not to get high again, but guess what? Every person you bust got that stuff right in your face. And eventually you get weak to it. And you do it again. And them drug pushers are so smart. They would take an undercover policeman and get his ass hooked purposely. And now he hooked, but he got a job too. So he'll stay a hooked cop forever, as long as he can keep hiding it from his superiors. Next thing you know, they got him doing all kind of stuff. So a lot of corrupt policemen are forced to be corrupt just because that's the game. You can't hate the player, you gotta hate the game. There's a whole lot of wicked stuff going on this planet. Let me tell you about it. That's the reason why the universe has really put a really serious team of mercenaries together to come here and deal with the people on this earth that's causing all this bad violence and everything. Anytime I could be brought to this planet through universal ordainment, okay, and show people proof. Say, look, this is who I am, this is how I got here, all that. Anybody that's been watching, you know, I done showed all that. My thing is, anytime you can do that, and you can flat out and with seriousness prove that there is some substantiation, some corroboration to your story, you know, but then you just got some people that is, whatever, so what? It's like a dog, your dog did bite me. Look, my ass is still bleeding. You're sitting there with a red rag that used to be white. You got blood all on your pants and everything. and the dog over in the corner still raising hell with your little jeans stuck in his teeth. Look, them is my dungarees in his mouth. Man, my dog ain't bit you. See, that's the world we live in. So much bullshit. And the people with money perpetuate all of the suffering and all of the strife that the many people have to go through. And it's just perpetuated by a corrupt penal system that has victimized black men. You know, me being the divine person that I am, the worst thing you could ever say I've done is use profanity. That's about it. You can't even get a woman in the city to say I hit on her or was rude to her. Well, I did call one girl a bitch. That's what's wrong, and I know that. And that's the worst thing that a man can do. But that was some issues that was going on where, either way, nothing justified that. I went and apologized to her. I did, because it bothered me so much that I had did that. As a matter of fact, I saw her the other day at Albertsons, and it was funny. I said, you know, I apologized to her again, you know. But my thing is, we all live under some extreme circumstances.